We have with us Mr. Rajah. He is All India rank 7 of UPSC CSE 2025. He is All India topper when it comes to GS paper 4. Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude, you have scored 138.
So this time is very much necessary for you guys to focus on mains mistake that I committed in my mains of 2025, sir. Next 2 months is going to be the most hectic part of your prep. Essentially, there are 80 days, right? So here, obviously, I would like to divide it equally for GS and optionals.
Hello and welcome to Unacademy. UPSC Prelims 2026 is over. What is the expected cutoff? My sense is anywhere between 80 to 83, may even go lower. So I think if you are scoring 75 plus, you should not waste your time. You should prepare for the mains examination. Now, how to best utilize the time which is left till the mains examination, how to structure your preparation. We have with us Mr. Rajah. He is All India rank 7 of UPSC CSE 2025. He is All India topper when it comes to GS paper 4. Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude, you have scored 138, which is the best that any student could get in this examination. How do you advise to students to utilize the remaining time left till the mains examination? What are the subjects that you need to focus upon? What is it that you need to do for ethics, integrity and aptitude? Over to you.
Yes, sir. Sir, particularly the next 2 months is very much important. The coming 89 odd days is left. So this time is very much necessary for you guys to focus on mains particularly, because I understand now a lot of noise is surrounding the prelims paper, and in a few days the official key will also be out. So now discussions will be going on the key. All these things should be put aside for a second, and you should also make sure that you have a plan for yourself to how you will be proceeding in the next 2 months before mains, because this again was a mistake that I committed in my mains of 2025, sir, which is I didn't have a focused plan for the next 2 months. And it affected me a lot because for the last attempt as well as the 26 mains, the number of days that is there between pre and mains is very low. So you have to properly plan the next 2 months. Otherwise, it will become a bit difficult. And in my own experience, it is very hectic. In my opinion, this next 2 months is going to be the most hectic part of your prep, because some subjects you might not have notes for them. Like for example, world history, some people might be reading it for the first time, and then your optional will be coming suddenly. Then someone will be asking you to write essays. So it is very essential that you plan it properly in the next 2 months.
Can you give them a set of timetable, for example, for this subject, these many days are necessary. For this particular subject, you need to go back to the subject frequently. What would that approach be?
Sir, there are 80 days. We'll take it as 80 days. We'll leave those 9 days for all the discussion for prelims and all those things. So essentially there are 80 days, right? So here, obviously, I would like to divide it equally for GS and optional, sir. So this is something that I would advise people is to divide your days equally between your GS and optional. Obviously, you won't be doing the first 40 days just for GS and the next 40 days just for optional, but it should be going side by side. But divide your days in such a way that almost half of it is going for GS. Let's say you're studying for 10 or 12 hours per day, then 6 hours exactly should go for your GS and 6 hours for your optional. So all the things that I'm advising now is from the mistakes that I made in 2025. Because I again didn't focus much on my optional and I focused a lot on GS. So this brought down my score to around 266. Whereas in anthropology, I'm an anthropology optional student, I could have almost gotten 280. 280 was a doable score in optional. So again, from my mistakes, I'm saying to you, don't focus too much on either one of the components. Focus equally on both of them. And
not to forget essay.
Yeah, exactly. Essay as well. So essay is something which will be a overarching thing that happens across the 80 days, where I would advise to write, if it again, essay is something which depends upon each person's capabilities. So if you're someone who's new to writing essays, then at least I would advise them to write at least 10 between these in these 80 days before your actual mains exam. That will be something which will be very useful, because for a essay particularly, I believe this one thing, which is when you write more you will get more marks. That is what, and practice more you will be getting more marks. So that is the formula for essay particularly. Now again, we'll look at both of them individually, sir. So coming back to GS, so the first thing that people should be doing is, if they already have their notes, what they have to do is they have to make short notes out of them. That too, short notes should not be made blindly. So short notes should be made according to the need of the paper that you are working towards. For example,
You can change the slide.
yeah, okay. For example, we take GS2. So in my opinion, for polity, you need ready-made short notes on the committees that you will be using, plus the articles that you will be revising. So these two things are the ones that you will be mugging up just before the exam.
Supreme Court judgments.
Supreme Court judgments, exactly. The case laws, we say, right? So that as well, sir. So this would be particularly for polity. Then if you take your governance, I was someone who did the reports, sir. What are they?
ARC reports.
ARC reports. I did the ARC reports and I had made short notes out of it. The recommendations, particularly ARC recommendations, which can be used in your way forwards. So these things particularly will be for GS2. And if you take your IR, some famous quotes or opinions by the experts of IR, then a good collection of maps that can be drawn. This would be the on the top of my mind. These are the things that should be there in your short notes, which will make GS2 as a GS2 answer. So we have to see what is the component that makes an answer a particular subject's answer. So you cannot write a polity answer without mentioning the committees, articles, and the Supreme Court judgments. So similarly, you cannot write a governance answer without mentioning some good recommendations. So ARC recommendations, again here you will have your committees, then some good practices. So when you come to good practices, there are international, global as well as your national, state level. Like for example, Tamil Nadu might be doing well in certain schemes, like there's
Citizens Charter.
Citizens Charter. Then there's a scheme called Makkalai Thedi Marutvam, which was there. So that's a good scheme for health. So when there is a question on health, particularly in governance, we can write that scheme. Tamil Nadu is doing well, so it can be adopted at a national level. So these kind of things should be in the short notes for governance. So this is particularly for GS2. Similarly for GS1, when there is history particularly, your years should be there in the short notes. And for geography particularly, your maps that you will be drawing. For example, natural resources, where they are located. I made a list of all the natural resources and drew the maps and kept. So they asked a question on the offshore oil reserves. So I had a map ready made for it. So I just took it and then wrote it in the exam. So like this, if the short notes are not ready, try to make the short notes ready for all these topics of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because again, I'm telling from my mistake, I didn't make these kind of very short notes, which made a revision a bit difficult for me. But since I had extensive answer writing practice, I could somehow manage. But everyone would not have had that. So make sure that you have your short notes ready if your notes are not yet ready. So that is a major
What
thing.
could be the approach for GS paper 4? And for you, I will tell you, because we're also launching the course, the Conquer Mains course, the program for those attempting the mains examination. And there, the teachers will also be teaching all the subjects, live classes, answer writing, and the stuff. But Rajah, others rank 10, 17, 29, 20 sessions they would be taking just to train you on the art of answer writing, how to add value to your answers, value addition, pointers, whatever it is. So can you tell us something about how you're going to teach and what's going to be the approach for GS paper 4?
Yes, sir. So particularly for GS paper 4, I will take a few slides. Can we... So coming to particularly GS4, I had decided that I would be focusing a lot on GS4 particularly because I knew that this is a subject which is the most scoring and most rewarding if you put the right efforts in the right direction for ethics particularly, because what I felt was GS3, even if you put a lot of efforts, scoring 90 plus is becoming very rare. Similarly, for GS2, the range is 120 to 125, and for GS1, it is around 100 plus to 110. So I knew, but GS4 every year the topper gets around 140 marks. So approximately 140 marks is the score that can be reached with ethics. So this I had in my mind. So I focused a lot on the GS4 part and I got 138 as we were mentioning. So it was very rewarding for me. So particularly for GS4, the most important thing is that your answer should be ethical in nature. So it is very it is very easy to write a GS answer to a question that is being asked in ethics. The thing
But that won't fetch you marks.
that yeah, exactly, that won't be fetching you marks. So how should we make a GS answer ethical? So I had a set template for myself. So in this template, I knew that even if the question is not asking about the civil services per se, but still I will bring in a civil services connect to the question, because the ethics paper anyways we are writing to clear the civil services exam. So let's say they are talking about a good work-life balance. How does a good work-life balance help a person? This is just a question. So in that I will write a civil service angle as well, where I talk about how a good work-life balance is important for a civil servant. Similarly, let's say there's a question on positive attitude. How should one develop a positive attitude? This is just a very general question, but even there, I will be bringing in a civil service angle and writing how a positive attitude in a civil servant is required for good governance. So that one angle I'll be writing in almost all the answers of ethics. And another part of the template would be to use the philosophers, which many people forget to do. So philosophers, again, I use both the Western philosophers as well as the Indian ones. So here again, what will be your short notes? So the short notes for ethics here would be the philosopher's name, let's say Aristotle. Then I would have a list of stuff that he said. I would have a list of stuff that what Aristotle said. And while writing the answer, because I had a template, I will also actively think
Recall
how I will use the short notes that I have in the actual exam, in the exam scenario. So the paper or the question won't be explicitly asking you to mention the philosophers, but still, if you make the connect and then we write the Western as well as Indian philosophers, it shows that you have read in depth the subject and that you're bringing in them actively, and that is again what makes the answer a ethics answer essentially.
There is one recurring doubt that students have while quoting philosophers. Let's say, can they quote Pandit Nehru? Slightly controversial figure in today's world and today's India. What's your take on that? Yes, no, avoid?
I think we can quote, sir. It's I think we have to be very diverse in who we are quoting, and if the thing that they have said in the context of the question, if it is right, then it is a good thing to quote, is what I would say in my opinion, sir. So it is essential that we bring in diverse examples, so we can obviously quote him. If let's say it's a question on children and he has done a lot of work in education, then we can quote him over there.
What do you tell a student who is now torn between whether I should prepare for 2027 attempt or 2026 I make clear? What do you tell them?
So again, what I would suggest to you guys is, because I am a person who didn't clear my first two prelims, but in the third prelims that I cleared, I was able to clear all the stages. So this didn't happen in this attempt particularly. This happened because of the work that I had put post my 23 prelims failure as well as the 24 prelims failure. So, and in fact in 24 what I did, even though I failed prelims, most of my friends were writing mains of 2024. It was their first mains. So I sat with them and wrote all the tests with them as well. And in fact, the actual mains also I wrote. I wrote it one day later. Sitting in my home, I wrote it. So it is something, so you can say that I gave mains 2024 in a way. So I want everyone watching this video to give mains 2026, whether it is within the exam hall or it is in their rooms. I want them to study as if they're studying for the actual exam and then give the exam.
Thank you so much, dear. And you can always interact with Raja in the live classes of Conquer Mains. Thank you for watching. All the best.
Thank you.